The hour of 1 o'clock having arrived, the Santa Cruz City Council will come to order. Madam Clerk, would you be kind enough to call the roll?
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Triguero.
Present.
Brunner.
Present.
Newsom.
Present.
Boulder.
Here.
O'Hara is currently absent. Vice Mayor Kalantari Johnson.
Present.
And Mayor Keeley.
Present. A quorum having been established, we will proceed. We are on oral communication. This would be the opportunity for anyone to address the council on a matter under our jurisdiction, but not on today's agenda, for a period of time not to exceed 2 minutes. Good afternoon and welcome, sir.
Good afternoon, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Marv Lewis, and I'm here to speak about the current situation at Lot 4, specifically concerns now raised regarding tax credit compliance and public oversight. I respectfully request the City Council agendize a discussion item and review of the current status of the Lot 4 Library Mixed-Use Project, specifically regarding compliance with the California Tax Credit Allocation Committee, start of construction requirements, and the status of the associated tax credit award. There's growing community concern about whether the project met the required construction milestones by the June 30th deadline and the potential impact of failure to meet these milestones on project financing and affordable housing commitments. In particular, the Council's June 24th passage of item 20, which delegated broad executive authority to the city manager, has raised substantive concerns that this maneuver may compromise the project's affordability guarantees, given the now uncertain standing of the tax credits. Therefore, I respectfully ask that the Council direct staff to seek formal clarification from the California Tax Credit Allocation Committee regarding the project's current tax credit eligibility and to implement a temporary pause on further construction activities pending a full public review to be scheduled as an agendized item at the August 12th council meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have anyone online? Not with their hand raised. Good afternoon. Welcome to the council meeting. Nice to see you again.
Thank you, Mayor Keeley. Thank you all. Members of City Council, Manager Huffaker, Attorney Kondati. My name is Elise Cosby. I'm a resident of Santa Cruz. I would like to support Mr. Lewis's request to the City Council that he has just made, that an agenda item be added to the next regular City Council meeting on August 12th. The purpose of this agenda item would be for the city to provide to the public a complete update on the current state of the fulfillment or lack thereof the pertinent conditions, such as the groundbreaking deadline of June 30th, and the related tax credits and related funding which is being applied to the misuse project on Lot 4. Further, we request that this item be put on the City Council's agenda and opportunities for full public participation. That means oral comments, emails, anything that's pertinent. We would like to know everything pertaining to the sources of funding, deadlines, what these fundings will be applied to. We further request that the City Council provide transparency in the form of providing all the relevant information as to what sources of funding are being used to build the mixed-use project that is being slated for Lot 4 in all the various forms, structures, and ways that pertain to the mixed-use project at this August 12th City Council meeting. We request that a full disclosure of the city's sources of funding, whether these have been already attained, whether these are in the pipeline and hoped for, and where the deficiencies in funding are. We want all the pertinent dates, deadlines, and deals to be disclosed and provided. Especially, but not only, we are interested in any application of Measure S funds to the mixed-use project. At the last City Council meeting, you gave a great deal of powers to the city manager. The public was not able to speak. You know that the public has a great deal of interest in this lot, and the grand jury has given us many red flags about the use of Measure S funds in Capitola buildings. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Anyone else online, Ms. Bush? Very good. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Welcome.
Pardon me if I read.
My name is Patrice Boyle. I started La Posta Restaurant in Lower Seabright 20 years ago. And I am grateful for this opportunity to be before you. First, I want to do a shout out to Mayor Keeley, who did a walkabout last week, visiting the various businesses in Lower Seabright. To the person I've spoken with, we appreciate it being heard. Also, I want to recognize that the B-cycles have been replaced, new B-cycles were replaced late last week after a year. I am here because of the Murray Street Bridge. Although this closure has only been for 4 months, it has already had a big negative effect on large parts of the Seabright and East Side neighborhoods and the thousands of commuters passing through. The businesses in Lower Seabright and at the harbor are really struggling. Overall, businesses are down 20 to 40%. Over Wharf to Wharf Week, my people coming into my business was down 26% over the previous year. I'm not going to recite a whole lot of negative percentages, but I want to make sure that you know, and everyone here is put on notice, that we cannot continue this way for another 2.5 or 3 years. Businesses will fail. They will fail. And it's not just us, pedestrians, cyclists, commuters, everyone's affected. The bus has even been eliminated from Lower Seabright. However, there is growing support for something that is simple, temporary, inexpensive, and legal. Allow people to walk or bike across the rail bridge for the duration of the construction on the adjacent Murray Street Bridge. Apparently, a lot of people agree with this idea, and I would say for a lot of different reasons. Anyway, we have 1,200.
Take a little more time. Go ahead.
We have 1,200 signatures on a petition that we started on Thursday, that I started on Thursday. I'm just going to say this is an opportunity to create a great space, and it's an opportunity for the city to act decisively and creatively in making something for the community. So thank you for the opportunity. And I have some letters from various.
If you'd be kind enough to give that to the clerk, she'll be glad to distribute it. And thank you so much for representing on behalf of the business community. Good afternoon, sir, and welcome to the council meeting.
Hi, my name is Michael Spatafor. I've been here a couple times regarding this. I'm here regarding Murray Street Bridge. I've been told the status, we're all experiencing the worst summer since COVID. We just started to recover, and now we have lost 15,000 cars a day in traffic. Now is when we need to be saving money to make it through the winter. But with sales drop, that's not going to happen. I've already pulled out of my pocket for the months of April, May, and June about $15,000. Hopefully, I'll be able to make it till September before I have to pull more money out to make it through the winter. You know, this work needs to be done as quickly as possible. We've been told by Public Works, city manager, people like that, that the work was going to be from 7 to 6, Monday through Friday, including and working on Saturdays. I haven't seen anybody work on Saturdays, right? If you guys work a month of Saturdays, that saves a week. If you do that for a year, we're looking at saving 3 or 4 months off this project. I live by the freeway, and they work on the freeway 24/7 or 24/6. They take Saturday nights off. They're working. I hear trucks beep, 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 backing up all night long doing work. We've been asking for help for this project since March. It took you guys, as Patrice just said, they finally moved B-cycles. They moved B-cycles 25 feet away. That's how we had to look at that abandoned station for a year. All the traffic on Soquel, 7th, Fredericks, everything is all backed up. You guys haven't done anything any pre-prep to mitigate any of this, and now you can't go around the harbor. Like Patrice said, we need to open the bridge to the harbor. Maybe put some hog wire around both sides. Some citizens did an improvement between Seabright and the bridge on the trail, on the path that goes alongside the tracks. That needs to be extended the rest of the way. On the other side, the east side of the harbor, which is yours, you guys, there's a city property that you guys can put an easement from Murray Street up onto the tracks. So you guys need to do something. You guys need to help us. There's a lot of businesses that are going to fail, and I'm sure you guys don't want to see that because we've all been there for a long time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Spatafor. Anyone else? under oral communication. Good afternoon, welcome.
Good afternoon. I actually came with a compliment in one regard, and that's with Parks and Rec. I attended their significant tree walk a couple weeks ago, and with Leslie Keedley, almost similar to your name, but nonetheless, 20-year employee is fantastic. And I'm a horticulturist by degree. And I realized how important those trees are to us and to our community and how strongly they stand. But I see that in your, I guess you want to call it your general budget. She has no budget pretty much left. All those trees should be watered with a tank waterer. They could be mulched. There's a lot of things that could be done that will save them. They're in duress. Maybe partial from climate change and proportionately from lack of care. And we need to keep them because they're strong and they really show our history. So I want to give a shout out to Leslie for doing an amazing job and for Parks and Recs for letting us go for free. I'm also here on another, but I wanted to be sure I said that. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Let me see if there's anyone else under oral communication. Anybody online? Last call on oral communication. We are moving along. We have 2 items on our consent agenda calendar, and let me, for those of you who might be unfamiliar with it, what we will be doing is taking up both items, one vote, unless a council member pulls an item and wants a further discussion. What we'll do is I'm going to go around the dais here, see if anybody wants to pull an item, make comment on an item, then I'll go out to the public for a similar kind of exercise. So I'm going to start here with Councilmember Golder, who is shaking her head. She had nothing on this one. Councilmember O'Hara? Nope. There we go. Madam Vice Mayor? All righty. Councilmember. I will pull item 2 so that we can have further discussion than simply taking it up by itself. Let me see if there's anyone with us in the public who would like to comment on our consent agenda. I have already pulled item 2, so the only thing on our consent agenda is item 1, which is a San Lorenzo River Levee Burrowing Rodent Mitigation Project. Darn burrowing rodents. Let me see. Anybody wish to make comment on that? I'm shocked and dismayed. All right, let's, without objection then, Councilmember Golder.
I'd like to move the consent.
Moving the consent
agenda. Item 1.
Second.
Councilmember O'Hara, motion and a second to approve item 1, which is the only item now on our consent agenda. Debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember Triguero.
Aye.
Brunner.
Aye.
Newsom.
Aye.
Boulder.
Aye.
O'Hara. Aye. Vice Mayor Kalantari Johnson.
Aye.
Mayor Keeley.
Aye. Motion passes and so ordered. We are on item 2, which has been continued from our consent agenda to the regular agenda. We will take that item up. Ms. Bush has provided us with the appropriate resolutions and documents so that the council can take an action to place the 2 housing measures which got to our ballot via initiative and signature gathering. Ms. Bush, do you have any opening comments you'd like to make on this item?
I have nothing further to add unless anyone has any questions, but yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
Okay. Let me see if council members have questions or comments you would like to raise at this time. Let me go out to the public and see if there's anyone who may want to comment on item number 2. This would be your opportunity to do so. If you're going to do that, line up on my left, your right, where people were lining up to do oral communication. That'd be the best way for me to see who's in which order to get this done. Good afternoon, sir, and welcome to the council meeting.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council members. My name is Gio Placencia with the Norcal Carpenters Union, Local 646. And I'm here today to express support for the Workforce Affordable Housing Bond Initiative. This bond should not only create roofs over people's heads, but also careers under their feet. That means ensuring the projects funded through this initiative lead to good paying jobs with healthcare, access to state certified apprenticeship programs, and strong labor standards with labor compliance. We look forward to continuing our support. Thank you.
Well, thank you, and thank you to Mr. Shields, who's been communicating with us very regularly on the same points that you were making. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon and welcome.
I read through both of them pretty thoroughly this morning, one from the housing and the other from the Santa Cruz County Association of Realtors. And what disappoints me in both of them is the lack of clarity. One is a senior is 55, one is a senior 65, one has parameters around it on what you earn. And I just feel like those never come out when you get to the ballot. You know, it's all backdoored. All of those slight bits of information are pretty much kind of washed through by the time it hits the ballot. No one knows that, I think, if they don't read it thoroughly, which they're lengthy and people don't really read anything thoroughly. So I would like to see something, or if there is a way that these are bullet pointed, that you can tell the difference. If you're going to pay a transfer tax on $1.8 million, that's $90,000. That's more than the people who originally bought those houses maybe 30 years ago ever made in a year. To me, I find that an astonishing amount of money to give to the city to do and put in their general fund. If that's not ear tagged, all of those should be specifically written out. And they're two distinct, different proposals. There's quite a bit of money at stake here. I've owned my home for quite a bit of time. Why do I need to give $90,000 on the sale of my house? I just don't think it's reasonable at all. Now, you want to put a tax on it for $95 or $50 through the association's initiative. And I'm kind of at the idea when this all started that you're going to vote for one or the other, and they either need 50% to get to the ballot or to win that ballot, but now you're getting one or the other regardless. So how is that democratic, right? You got 50, one's gonna win with the most votes. That's just what it is. Is that incorrect?
Well, that is incorrect. but
It is
go ahead.
incorrect. So what would be correct?
Would it be correct is both could pass, both could fail, one could pass, one could fail. There's all kinds of options about what happens, what the voters do, just so we're clear.
I just read that this morning over and over again. Since there's two competing ballots, maybe I'll just read it on my own time and not take any more of my 30 minutes. But
Okay.
nonetheless, I wish it was clearer to people who vote.
Thank you. In addition to that comment, I'll just add this. You indicated that money would go in the general fund. No, it doesn't. If either one of these measures passes, they go into the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, so that we're clear. Good afternoon, sir, and welcome.
Good evening, City Council. My name is Alberto Lustre with the Carpenters Local 646, and just here to fully support the project. This project is an opportunity to create jobs for the local community, actually apprenticeship, and as well as the actual healthcare for some of the workers going to build the projects here. So fully support and urge you to approve this bond. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Welcome.
Hello, my name is James Lapp. I'm one of the founding pastors of COPA 22 years ago and a pastor at St. Stephen's Lutheran Church across from Harbor High School last 29 years. COPA was the organization responsible in keeping the Santa Cruz County from passing a housing element. The real estate industry had kept the county from doing that for 22 years. And in fact, when I met with our District 1 supervisor back in 1998, asked about why there wasn't more affordable housing in our community, because we had a young family with two fully employed parents living in a trailer in our parking lot. Her response, our supervisor's response, was this: why would you want to bring more crime and graffiti into our neighborhoods? While a real estate agent sat next to her. It is clear where the real estate industry's priorities were then and are still now, to only benefit their own wealth. The way their confusing measure has been brought forth is based on confusion and undermining and being intentionally deceptive. It's a measure that has been brought forth based on greed and has little to no concern about the actual working middle-class families who struggle to make it in our most unaffordable county in the entire country. Their unjust measure will reduce available funding for affordable housing to a trickle, and it should be soundly rejected on moral grounds. At the same time, there's an opportunity to acknowledge the hard work of community members who actually represent our working middle-class families, who have come up with a fair and just measure that will make lasting impacts on the availability of more affordable housing so Santa Cruz can attract and keep our school teachers, police, firefighters, construction workers, carpenters, so on. So I wanted to bring that to our attention as we know these two measures are coming forward. And I hope that people will side with those people I just listed and also side with the people of St. Stephen's who went and built 40 units of low-income housing on church property back in 2010. And guess what? It has not created any more crime or graffiti, despite the lies of the real estate industry.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Bush, do we have, you'll alert me if someone is online with their hand raised, and then we can toggle back and forth. Good afternoon and welcome.
Thank you, Mayor, council members, city manager, and Attorney Kandati. My name is Lise Casby. I just wanted to, first of all, thank COPA and all the churches and others who have worked so diligently for the Workforce Housing Affordability Act of 2025. I want to call into mind some of the duplicitous acts of the developer and real estate industry in the last decade. We have suffered, first of all, a recall of 2 fairly elected city council members. Now, the recall was legal, but it was a smear campaign, and it really destroyed 2 people who didn't deserve that. And it was done so that 2 members of council could be placed on the dais who were not really fairly elected in the general election. They got elected in March, okay? So we also have seen many covert, behind closed doors scheming to make sure that a certain group of elite people and politicians who have deep designs, such as the library garage, the Taj Garage, that they've wanted for like 30 years, I've been told, on Lot 4, and couldn't get it. And so there were many machinations here, including from the beginning of appointing a small library committee, handpicked, taking over the Friends of the Library, putting forth Measure S, and then kind of mixing it up. But what I'm really concerned about is the use and misuse of voter intention. Voter intention on Measure S, specifically, we believed as the majority, and by the way, I want to say back then when Sandy Brown was on council, she made it clear that 4-1, 4 emails against the Taj Garage to 1 that was for. City council, the powers that be, the developer and real estate industry did not care what the city of Santa Cruz popular majority wanted. We went to all the meetings and we still got duped. And especially concerning was the slogan, "Don't be fooled," by the exact industry that was fooling people during that campaign. I know a couple people who really didn't know which way to vote because they have kids, they're working 2 jobs, their husband's also working, and in this case, they really thought that the Don't Be Fooled campaign, which was put forth by the real estate and developers on Measure O, was the right way to vote, whereas in fact they voted against their own interests. So we have many reasons to be concerned about the honesty of this measure. Please help us. Guide us to a truthful, transparent, fair measure. Thank you.
Thank you. Laz, good afternoon. Welcome to the council meeting. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Hi, I'm Laz Myman. I'm a recent UC Santa Cruz graduate, and I'm here to speak in favor of the Workforce Housing Affordability Act. I just wanted to start with like a little correction on one of the previous speakers who said that you'd have to pay a $90,000 tax on a home that's sold for $1.8 million. The tax is actually only on every dollar over the $1.8 million threshold, so it would actually be far lower than that. I think that was a little misleading. I just wanted to make that clear.
Thank you.
But I think that the benefits of this act, are numerous for so many people, seniors, essential workers, people my age that are looking at the job market and the housing market and trying to rectify the two and really making our life decisions based on the rent, it's a tough situation for us. And I think that having more affordable housing benefits everybody, benefits the entire community. And it couldn't come at a more crucial time. I mean, we have a federal government that does not care about the lives of working people, does not care about ensuring affordability for anybody, that's cutting our social safety net, cutting all of our services. And I think that this is a way for us as a community to really come together and say, when they want to close doors, we want to open them. I mean, when they want to tear down opportunity, we want to build it back up. And when they want corporate money and big money to buy influence in government, we want to say no. We want to let our voters decide. And so I really think that this is a way for our community to come together and say that we're about more than just commodifying housing. We're about supporting housing. We're about supporting our community. And we're about supporting making sure that everyone has a place to live in this city that is now the most expensive rental market in the country. So I really hope that we can come together and really try to make things different here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Goldenkrantz, good afternoon, sir. Welcome to the council meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, council members and staff. My name is Andrew Goldenkrantz. I want to just give a little bit of history and context, but first I want to thank you all. I especially want to thank the staff for your work with us to help just get the fine print right. You didn't put your thumb on the scale, but you really played fair in terms of making sure that this process worked well, and I really appreciate that. I'm here, I'm going to put two hats on for just a second. I'm on the board of Santa Cruz Community Health, which is an anchor service institution here in town. I also, in my professional life as an educator, I hire teachers and staff for a living. And so I just want to one of the things that was interesting was when we went for an endorsement for the Workforce Housing Affordability Act in both of those institutions, I was surprised to hear a very similar story. So I know that Councilmember Golder understands that the secret to building a great school is to hire and retain great staff, teachers and staff. Very, very difficult to do in a climate where housing is so expensive. In the health clinic, when we talk to both staff and our patients, 12,000 patients, about half of whom are city residents, we say, what's getting in the way of you achieving better health outcomes? Housing continues to be the #1 topic. So the reason I bring this up is because while we have two ballot initiatives that may sound similar in a lot of ways, they're not at all similar in their outcome. The question for us and in commendation for you as a council, if my numbers are right, you've spent about $2.5 million in the last 5 years in subsidizing and supporting projects that are below market rate. Can we meet the moment? What can we do if we had 10 times that money? So the question for me as a person who supports the community and wants good stuff to happen is $1 million a year for 10 years, $5 million a year for 20 years. What will help us meet the magnitude of the issue that we're facing, and what will allow all of us, including you as elected officials, to be able to look back and say, we met the moment, we did the right thing. Big problems take big solutions, and I appreciate your support on this one. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. Welcome to the council meeting.
Good afternoon. My name is Karen Menahan, and I'm here as a resident of the city of Santa Cruz. I was born in Santa Cruz in 1963 to a family that lived below the poverty line, and can say that the entire time that I've lived here, more than 50 years, I've experienced extreme housing insecurity as a renter here. My family, when I was a kid, had to move a couple of times because landlords raised the rent or wanted to move their families in. And I know that's, a story that we hear today as well. I'm in favor of the Workforce Housing Affordability Act because I believe we need all the housing we can get in Santa Cruz. Despite working full-time plus a side hustle, I still really couldn't afford to buy a house here. Probably couldn't afford to rent a house here if I didn't currently live with a relative. So, at the age of 61, things haven't gotten better here. And so I really encourage you to do everything you can to support the Workforce Affordability Housing Act. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. Good afternoon, sir. Welcome.
Good afternoon. My name is Dave Pattee. I'm the pastor of Peace United Church of Christ. And I and my church are affiliated with COPA, and I'm here to speak in favor of the Workforce Housing Affordability Act. And uncharacteristically for clergy, I intend to be quite brief. Like most every religious tradition, we hold community and justice as central values. And the Workforce Housing Affordability Act is so important to my church and to me because it serves those central values, which are very much in line with concerns and needs for the whole community. Neighbors supporting each other and calling each other to account, and particularly in terms of housing, being able to live together, to have a place in the community. Some of you may recall that recently not so long ago, I was before you seeking entitlement for a housing project constructed by my church on our property with more than the required amount of affordable housing. I am all in favor of making market forces work, and I like competitive markets. But there is a place for the people, for the public, to exercise initiative and leadership in guiding how that market works, in taking the lead. And we need that lead now. We're not going to be able to catch up just by letting market forces work and projects come here and there. One of the things I'll tell you about is that ever since people found out that we were entitled for our project, our phones have been ringing off the hook from people who work in Santa Cruz, teachers, cops, firefighters, who can't find reasonable housing and are looking for our little bit as an opportunity for them. We need a lot more. I urge your support of the Workforce Housing Affordability Act.
Thank you very much, sir. Lane Johnson, welcome to the council meeting.
Why you gotta make me laugh? Good afternoon, council members and mayor. It's good to be here this afternoon to talk about the Workforce Housing Affordability Act. You know, these last 2 years, as most of you know, we have spent time with the community getting to where we are today. You know, this wasn't something that happened overnight or in the last 2-3 months where the opponent, the realtors have swooped in to try to kibosh this measure. As we all know, we made #1 again for the most expensive rental market in the country. Again, that's a #1 that we don't want to be, right? So what we have in front of us is a solution. And I know that each of you know that because you've been working tirelessly on our housing crisis. But I think what's critically important today for the community to know is that we can't be confused about what's going to be happening going forward with this measure and the realtors measure. Because I got to witness for the last 6 months how confused the community got about these measures. I want to be really clear. The spokesperson, who happens to be Victor Gomez, said that they're not here to build a community measure, but they're here to block and defeat our measure. That is not someone I hear that wants to build homes, and those firefighters and those school teachers and all the other people that need to live here can be able to live here if you're trying to destroy something that is the solution and the answer to our issues. So I thank you for taking this time today to hear us. I thank you for voting and supporting this measure. We have work ahead of us, but what I know is when work is done in integrity, that's what the community wants. And so I'm gonna leave with this, because this is something I woke up with this morning when I knew I was gonna be here. When Maya Angelou says, believe what they say, believe them. Because they said they didn't put this measure together to build homes. They put this measure together to take away from the community. Thank you.
Thank you. The former mayor is in the house. Mr. Van Allen, how are you, sir?
Good afternoon, Mr.
Good
Mayor
afternoon.
and council members. I'm Bruce Van Allen, and I manage several affordable housing projects in the aftermath of the 1989 earthquake for our city-created Community Development Corporation. And we had tons of disaster money, first Red Cross money and other things that came in, and we couldn't have built those housing to replace the lost low-income housing that had been in our city before that. We couldn't have done it without those massive subsidies. But one of the things that I learned during that period was that the really key thing to bring in the outside money, whether it's grants or tax credits or state subsidies or federal money, is the local commitment. And that can only really be serious if it's in one of two forms: land to build on or money to help seed the project. The Workforce Housing Affordability Act, which was put on the ballot by the efforts of over 80 individual signature gatherers over 6 months, does that by providing enough money and a fair distribution of taxation burden on the real estate market that is creating so much wealth for a few people and harming other people. So having this measure in place is crucial. So I'm glad we're at this point today. I would now like to just turn to thanking a few people that helped us get here today. First of all, Elaine Johnson and Housing Santa Cruz County helped anchor a community project that brought in many sectors. You know me, I come from the left. This isn't perfect in my view, but I got a good, solid source of revenue that's going to pay off for affordable housing in our community, and that's good enough for me to say I'll accept this compromise measure. In addition to Housing Santa Cruz County, the mayor and the leadership of this city played a really important role, and I appreciate all of you for stepping up, talking to your constituents, talking to your networks, and helping us get to this point today. Finally, I would like to thank the Board of Realtors for making the choice so clear. We have one genuine community-based measure that raises serious money for serious uses of affordable housing, and we have a sabotage subterfuge measure, and we get to see what the debate's all about, and we get to see which side everyone is on. So I appreciate them for bringing it forward in this manner. Thank you very much. Good luck to all of us.
Thank you, sir. Van Allen walks away. He left someone out. Thank you, sir. You were instrumental in representing a point of view during a long process, putting that together. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. Welcome.
Hi. I'll talk about a couple things today, but the first is why we really need this. And I'm a student at Mission Hill, and I see the stark reality of housing in Santa Cruz there regularly. There are kids that need to move away to Fresno, to Manteca, to all over to escape the burdensome rents here. But then also hope and kids who have been able to have their families move into the Cedar Street apartments or of the like and really have that lift them up. Then also just some maths. Totally 90,000 on 1.8 million, no way. It's more like 1,000 on 2 million, okay? And then also Bruce thanked the mayor, Fred Keeley, and certainly he's played an important role getting this going. But it's not just him going around gathering signatures. It's the community, it's all of us. And I'm really proud we've been able to do that together. So yeah, let's win this. We've defeated two confusing measures in the before, Measure M and Measure O. I think we'll do it again, and we'll actually get to vote for something that will really help. So thank you.
Don't go away. Did you say you go to school?
Mission Hill.
That's what I thought you said. Now, we've seen you before, and I got to say, you are inspiring in the sense of another generation adding a voice to what is being said in these chambers, which that voice is not always represented. Thank you very much. Let me see if there's anyone else who wishes to address us. The other former mayor is shaking his head as if he doesn't have anything to do with this. Oh, yes, please. Yeah, thank you. Don't. But thank you for being here, Mr. Lane, and thank you for all your good work on one of these initiatives. Thank you very much for that. Anyone else wish to address the council on this matter? Anyone else on the phone? Matter is back before the body. Pleasure of the body.
I'd like to move item 2 on our agenda.
Okay. As recommended, and a second by the vice mayor. As recommended, that recommendation then would place, we would authorize placement of both those measures on the ballot. Then that gets sent to the county clerk, who will toss a coin to decide which one's first on the ballot. It's no more complicated than that. It really is a chance, the way which one's first, which one is second. Ms. Bush has done a very good job of tracking everything all the way along the line. Our chief elections official and clerk of our city, and we thank you and your team for getting everything in the right order at the right time so that these measures can be on the ballot. Let me ask if members have comments on the motion. The vice mayor is recognized.
I just briefly want to also echo some of the sentiments out there and thank the community members who've worked on the Workforce Housing Affordability Act. It has been years in the making. I know it takes a lot of work and a lot of effort, so thank you for getting it to where it is today.
Thank you. Councilmember O'Hara.
Thank you, Mayor. I would echo the Vice Mayor's comments and just, I think I said something similar during the discussion on the downtown plan expansion. I think we have entered into a new phase of housing policy and governance in this community and hopefully statewide. And I think that's really reflective of the voices that are in the room today. The more we can have a pastor come to talk about community and justice and housing being at the center of both of those things, I think the better. We are responsible for that, of advancing community, advancing our collective well-being, and advancing and uplifting each one of our community members. And that happens here at the local level, and housing is the connective tissue, amongst other things, but it truly is the connective tissue. And so I appreciate everybody coming out today. I apologize for being a couple of minutes late. I had a work meeting that I got to get off this meeting. So thank you for coming, for sharing your voices, particularly our younger community members who also came out to some of the other housing conversations that we've had. I would ask for those folks that are at the tip of the spear of impacts of housing insecurity, keep sharing your voices. I don't have that experience. I need to hear how that feels, right? So anyway, I just truly appreciate it. I wanted to extend my appreciation to the mayor as well. You have been a tremendous mentor throughout this entire process. Thank you.
Thank you. Further questions, comments? Council member.
Thank you. This item, I just want to say, is for us to authorize these measures going on the ballot. And we're not approving either measure, right? That's for the voters to decide. And there were several comments that I just wanted to address for clarity regarding the confusion between the two and what each one holds and represents. And when it gets to the ballot, I think one speaker spoke, we've all received ballots and there's a blurb to read about what it's about, and it's a summary, right? And once we approve this to go on the ballot, then there are certain dates and deadlines that each measure has to submit the ballot arguments. And that's up to each measure to write and determine what it says. And I think in our agenda report, there are some dates listed for those ballot arguments against and for. And I think I'm looking August 14th, and rebuttals are due August 21st. So the next step from here is those two measures will go and each write their ballot arguments, the blurb that shows up on the voter ballot. Am I correct in that? I'm looking at the city clerk.
Keep going. I want to, yes, but the designation is the authors of the measures have
Thank
priority of the arguments.
Yes. So our role today is to approve these. Community signatures have brought these forward. They met the requirements, and this will be a special election. I know I had some questions come up from constituents and comments here, so.
Just to clarify, it is not a special election. It is an established election date.
Established, yes, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Further questions, comments? Councilmember Triguero.
Thank you, Mayor. Just briefly, I'd like to echo the comments made by my colleagues and thank all the community members. When I took office, the efforts towards one of these measures was already underway and had a very concerted effort to bring community members together. I was hearing about it during my own campaign. I ran on a platform expressing my personal profile here in the community that's shared by many. I'm a working mom, a single mom, working 2 jobs to pay a rent with no hope of ever owning. And I think what we have in the community here is some major effort and leadership that's come forward to change that for folks who come down the line in the future. I have deep concerns about the misunderstanding that a lot of constituents are having between the 2 names, how the timing of the second measure came in. And I think that's been expressed by many people, but it would be wrong for me to not also lift that because community members are confused. And this is a very, very important central issue for all of us. So thank you for all of you who spoke today.
Further debate or discussion, Councilmember?
Thank you, Mayor. I just keep my comments brief. Just want to thank or want to associate myself with the comments of my colleagues, and just want to thank everyone here who worked today to bring one of these ballot measures forward in an effort to strengthen the fabric of our community and to provide more affordable housing and more housing for workers in our community and for the future of our community. And just want to thank you for this great effort. Thank you.
For the debate or discussion. Thank you all very much. Those of you who participated in the development of the community's measure in this regard. The clerk will call the roll.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmembers Triguero.
Aye.
Bruner.
Aye.
Newsom.
Aye.
Holder.
Aye.
O'Hara. Aye. Vice Mayor Kalantari Johnson.
Aye.
Mayor Cooley.
Aye. Motion passes and so ordered. Thank you. Is there further business to come before the body? The further business to come before the body. Motion to adjourn be in order. Councilmember Golder moves. Councilmember Triguero seconds. Non-debatable. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries and so ordered. We are adjourned. Thank you. Yes, my friend.